Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is the author Andrew Snorton, and you're tuned in to the Fast 15. What we usually do each and every Wednesday about this time, give or take. You know how technology works. Sometimes it's smooth as silk, sometimes it's smooth as sandpaper. But what we do usually about this time, take about 15 minutes or so. It's our time to just kind of pause, check up, check in, enjoy an encouraging word, and then close out on a positive note. And then every once in a while we will have a guest pop in or hop on. So the best ways to enjoy on Facebook, if you add the page Author Andrew Snorton, AUTHOR, Author Andrew Snorton, it's streaming live. Also, you're getting a little bit of the behind the scenes look on Instagram at AuthorASnorton. So you can check it out there, and we'll repost this on the IGTV channel. And of course, we're using technology. So Zoom has been everybody's friend for a good while, especially since about March or April. And today is real special. And I see right here, James Motivates joining us on Instagram. Shouts to James Motivates. Hope you are doing what you can to keep people motivated and encouraged. So, every day is a good day. And for those who are tuning in on Zoom and Facebook, before we get into our guest, what we always try to do, ladies and gentlemen, is start off with taking a moment just to kind of keep everybody encouraged. We know everybody, different people to varying degrees, are going through some different things. I know personally, I'm aware of some folks that are living with or living through things like deaths in the family. Sometimes their own health or wellness is being compromised. Job wise, some people are struggling, things along those lines. And we always take time to acknowledge people that aren't doing well. And number one, you have every right to feel how you feel: disappointed, angry, hurt, frustrated. But the bigger right that you have for yourself is not allowing yourself to stay stuck there. So all of us can relate to being knocked down, hit upside the head, kicked in the shin, or sometimes self-inflicted wounds. I haven't done it recently, but like walking into the refrigerator or to the edge of the bed. I haven't walked in any car doors or anything. But seriously, to anyone who's tuned in, who's going through a challenging time, please know that there really are people, despite what you think, there really are people that care. There are people who want to see you do better, want to see you do well. So we understand if you feel some type of way, you have every right to feel that way, but just don't stay stuck there. The longer you stay stuck there, the worse it's going to be. And on the flip side, we know there's some people that are really doing some great things. So the folks out there, you might have started your business. You might have written your first book. You might have taken your first step because you're recovering from an injury. You might be that person who didn't realize there is more talent and ability in you, and now you're starting to realize it. You digged into your pocket and it wasn't lint, it was some crusty dollars. Hey, dollars spent regardless. So for folks out there that are doing great, we congratulate you, we commend you. Keep moving forward, but let's not forget those that aren't doing as well, because once upon a time we were that person. So again, this is what we always do, just to kind of get it out there for the good, the not so good, to keep it motivated and encouraging. And before we get into our selection for the day, I'm real excited to have a guest. We've had different guests that have hopped on from time to time. So I'm real excited to have Kris10 from Kris10 Media joining us. How are you doing this afternoon?
I am excellent. How are you?
I'm doing great. You can see I went to the barbers. I'm all ready. I was ready for the day.
You cleaned up nice.
I tell you what, I was ready for it today. So before we get into our selection, if we pivot back, words of encouragement that you have for anybody that might not be doing well, and words of motivation for people that are starting to see things come together.
I think the best way to put it truthfully is to stay in gratitude, because even if you're not in that broken place now and you have been in that broken place, you realize that it was that broken place that kind of propelled you to where you are right now, the motivation that you have right now. So I challenge you that if you are in that place, and I'm a faith-based person, so I would just say, kind of ask God, like, where is this taking me? And if you don't feel like you hear the answer, just be grateful for that moment, because something happens at the lowest of the low. I think I heard Les Brown say, if you get knocked down, make sure it's on your back, because the only way you can see is up. And where we are now is in a season that last year kind of knocked a lot of us back. However, it also propelled a lot of us as well. So we're here, and I would like for you guys to just stay encouraged. Now is the time for gratitude. And if you can see something good in any situation, I promise you, it won't necessarily change the situation. It changes you in the situation. And when that change happens within you, your surroundings have to change. And it's not that things magically change, it's that your perspective changes. And at that moment, truthfully, it doesn't matter what comes your way. If you can see the good in every situation, if you can see the good even in death, to have had the moment or opportunity to spend with this person those countless moments that you've had, to even embrace those times, I just believe there's a moment for gratitude in every situation. So guys, stay encouraged, stay prayed up, definitely stay around people who are able to lift you up. If you're gonna vent, make sure you vent to somebody who's able to pour back into you once you released all of that stuff out of you. It really matters who you vent to. It matters who's surrounding you, because those are the people that are going to see you and they're going to pull you up out of that trench. So that's all I got.
I tell you what, that is very timely advice. When I was listening, and it was where take note of the company you keep. And like you said before, and I think about it, criticism can be a good thing. Constructive criticism, like, hey, you might want to do something different. Yeah. That is going to help you, but destructive kind of keeps you stuck. And one of the things we don't want anyone to do, or anyone to feel like you are stuck in a situation. And that's something that every once in a while, when other people have, dropped in and whatnot, have definitely said that. So I'm glad you shared what you shared. Now, I know you've got your share of very positive and constructive moving parts. I'm actually quite impressed. You wrapped up with the project probably no more than like 10 seconds ago and hopped on. So it's a pleasure seeing you. And like I said, before we get into our passage and breaking it down and letting people see what they can do to pick up the pieces, walk through briefly just a couple of the moving parts that you have.
Well, so you did just mention me walking out of a moving part. I just did a photo shoot, a birthday shoot. About 10 years ago, I purchased a camera. It was my first DSLR Canon. I won't go into the details. It was a Rebel, but hey, we got to start somewhere. And that camera became my seat at the table. It started the conversations for where I am now, and it was a small beginning, but I just had a faith in that. I had hope in that movement. So from there, I was able to start doing short films and promotional videos for small businesses. So a part of Kris10 Media, which was officially established in 2019. Yes, I was working without the business license before, but we had to be official. Get it? When you know better, you do better. And we do short films for startup businesses, larger businesses, anyone that has a message, branding, all of that for Kris10 Media. And another passion of mine is hats, fashion. I love fashion. If anybody has known me, I love fedora hats. And God gave me a vision about 2 years ago. And this is another thing that kind of ties into your circle, because I had the vision 2 years ago about a hat company, but it wasn't until I met a certain individual, her name is Bianca Malcolm, that really kind of jump-started that notion to start the business. She was a creative. So I had Daryl Ogletree, I had a lot of great, and I can start naming names. That's where we get mistakes, because you get those phone calls afterwards like, you didn't name me, you didn't say that. Mom, Dad, I like to thank God, who's the head of my life. Yeah. So Those are a couple of the moving parts. My passion, my heart is ministry. So in the thick of all of that is my Christian faith nuggets. And it's where I can get on and just share a lot of what's happening right now. And Christian Faith Nugget just landed a space in Real Women's Atlanta magazine. So every month you will see a Christian Faith Nugget in Real Women Atlanta, which will be launching next month in March. So shout out to Charmaine Hutchinson. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And you'll see us there. So we'll be able to share an encouraging word. We now are able to highlight women who are doing amazing things. So every month you'll be able to see that in Real Women Atlanta magazine. And recently, I've had the opportunity to freestyle off of the dough and express myself through words and songs, and which lands us right here, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting here tuned in like, wow, it's like you learn something new every day. But I think, and I'm glad you're sharing your journey, because I'll say a number of times people are like, I want to do something, but I don't know how to start. Should I start? They hear the other noise outside, they hear the noise internally. And I'm glad you shared, it was always in you. And now that it's coming out, you see where your gifts are taking you. So to anybody out there, it's like I try to say each and every time we do this, you've got a lot more talent inside than what you give yourself credit for. You have a lot more ability than what you give yourself credit for. So you owe it to yourself to kind of just take time to discover. And that is totally fine. And it, quote, to varying, sometimes it doesn't matter when you start. The fact that you got started.
Yeah.
There's many a late bloomer or early riser, everything in between. So the fact that you got started and the fact that you're sharing, here's where I am now, but I'm giving you a little bit of a snapshot of some of the things I had to be led through in order to get here. And that's a wonderful thing. And this is going to be a good moment for us to pivot into our passage for the day, because as you said, a freestyle audiobook. Now, who do you know that does a freestyle audiobook series where all you're doing is you're in the studio, you're writing and you're recording and knocking it out in one take, maybe two? Who do you know does such shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Creative shenanigans. I have no clue of whom you speak of, but I know one of the people, because I know we were fortunate to collaborate on the next edition of the Author's Mixtape, which is going to be volume 4, the collab. And what we're going to do today, this was something unbeknownst to you, and we're going to roll it out. We're still going to roll it out for the full broadcast tonight, but the portion that we're going to pull is from one of the tracks from the audiobook, and we're just going to play a snippet of it, but we're still going to break it down and show people, here's how you can use this to go ahead and continue to build yourself up, and in the process you build other people up. So let's see if technology is going to agree with me today.
Technology, I have no idea that's what he's about to play, so I'm just as surprised as you are. Just want to point that out to everybody.
Hey, us creatives, so you're going to hear this track, and I'll tell you what, even though I did my share of work, she did her share of work, we're going to put the spotlight on her share of work. So this is a snippet of one of the tracks that Kris10 did, and I'll share the title after we play the snippet. So here we go. We're gonna hit play and see what happens.
Oh my! Rise and shine. Time to get on the grind. What's on your mind? Is it how the time rewinds when you are flowing in your purpose, but it's worth it? All right, now snap out of it. Get up, get up, get up, get up, make it happen. You relaxing and time passing you by. Time flies. Have you ever seen your idea floating across the TV screen only to realize it wasn't you? I mean, it was your idea, but you sat on it because you thought.
And ladies and gentlemen, so let's see if I can make sure to get this switch back. That was actually a snippet of one of the tracks that Kris10 did called Awake. And I tell you what, when you were sharing some of the different things, and like we were sharing some of the different things, that track was right on time. You think about when I hear that track and I think about the morning, it's a dawn of a new day. It's a dawn of a new opportunity. You know, whatever happened, happened, but now you have an opportunity to pivot. Another thing, and I'm so glad that you shared your journey, because to a degree in that snippet, you were talking about your journey. Think about all the brilliant ideas, all the brilliant things that you're capable of doing. And you kind of, at times, we all are guilty of it. We let them go by. Some of it's because of doubt. Some of it's because of the noise we let in between our left and our right ear. Some of it's internal. But in that snippet, to me, I hear a lot of motivation, a lot of go ahead and get started, a lot of it's a new day, it's a clean slate. You can go ahead. Socialite in the City joining us on Instagram. How are you doing? And the same with SK Wilbur joining us. Those are things that I heard. Now that you've had a chance to hear it, because you know what it was like to record it. And when you hear that snippet, what are some of the things that come to mind that even you draw motivation from?
I draw motivation because I do believe that the worst feeling in the world is seeing someone else walking in the purpose that God gave you, but you didn't believe in yourself enough to do it. And I dread those feelings. And I lived my life like that for a long time. I shared a lot of ideas. Ideas would come all of the time. But I think I was waiting on something or someone to validate me. I was waiting on some magical moment. And what I realized is sometimes you just have to create that moment. You have to manifest that moment. You have to become what you desire. And waking up every day now looks different to me because it's literally a brand new day. There are brand new opportunities. It's brand new mercies. And to me, it's like a restart, a reset. Yesterday is no longer. Tomorrow does not exist. The only thing that matters is the now. And if you're always in the now, you create the yesterdays, and tomorrows will forever be a figment in your imagination. So I'm learning to stay present. So that piece was actually me getting to, and if you guys take a look at it, it actually gets to me becoming present in that moment from the blurs of waking up. So I loved it.
Yeah. I tell you what, and in listening to it, and like I said, you know, you give people a little bit of the appetizer, so that way they want to go get the full entree, the dessert, the filet of leftovers, all those types of things. But no, but that track, especially how we like to do things here. And again, for the folks that aren't doing well, when you have that next day, it's another opportunity for you to, quote, get it right or get it better. For those that are doing well, it's another opportunity to keep building momentum and things of that nature. Like we've said earlier, and we both alluded to it, the fact that you got started. You know, you have all these ideas, but the fact that you got started, and now that you've got started, you're seeing, where you're going, and you feed off of that. So that segment definitely, I think, gives people encouragement. It gives people positive vibes, and gosh, all these moving parts, and now audiobooks, like, come on, like, what is this?
That was it is crazy. He's like, yeah, I want you to be on this audiobook. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I'll show up. Then you get there and he's like, she's the best. I'm like, wait. I've never before. So I appreciate it. That was an amazing, amazing experience. And like you said, it highlights that you have inside of you. You don't even acknowledge at times. So I'm grateful. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Well, hey, well, it all started long time ago. But no, but seriously, I think what I'm really excited about, talking about that project is when you have to freestyle, it forces you to release all your inhibitions. Like instead of worrying about how it's going to sound, it's like, let me just come out and say it. And when you do that, you think about things that you, like I said, things you want to constructively pursue, and you're holding back. It's like, wait a minute, if I can do something like this, then there's no telling what other great things I'm capable of doing. So it's not just, creating the book, and it's not just the topics and the cathartic releases and all that. It's really about seed planting. So it's like, wow, I am capable. Wow, I have this. Wow, I never looked at it this way. Wow, it's okay for me to go through the wide range of emotions. Wow, it's okay, quote, not to have it all together sometimes, because you're not going to have it all together all the time. But again, like we said before, we want to make sure that you're pivoting, and you're pivoting into something more positive and more powerful, because you still have to realize your purpose while you're here.
Absolutely. And
So
purposes.
yeah, so the author's mixtape that'll be dropping tomorrow. So for people who are audiobook fans, that'll drop on your favorite platforms like Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon, iTunes, Apple Music. So all you have to do is just type in the author's mixtape. You'll see 4 of them pop up. Definitely cop number 4, because you'll hear this collab. Cop the other ones too, but cop number 4.
All of
Cop all of them. Cop all of them. But these are the types of messages that we try to put out there, on that mixtape series. And even like I said, when we do this live chat, part of doing it is during our now normal, you do need moments to pause. Sometimes you can't wait till nighttime to get yourself.
right.
Sometimes the morning, while you try to get off to a good start, morning might be as smooth as sandpaper. So this is why we do this each and every midweek. But before we close out, just a couple of quick things. Later on today, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, tune into the Status Network, the live TV channel. Kris10 is going to be my exclusive full broadcast guest. So we're going to dig deeper into these and some of the other topics, the great work she's doing, things along those lines. So to catch that tonight, make sure on the internet, statusnetwork.net. The big old pop-up box, just click on Conversation Corner and you're good to go. If you have room on your smart devices, the smartphone app is Status Network. You click on channels, you click on LYVE Live TV, you're good to go. For those of you on social media, especially Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, add Status Network as well as LYVE Live TV in order to catch it. And for those of you that watch television, cable, satellite, well, probably satellite, technology, whatever, Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, you can tune in to Status Network tonight. So definitely catch the full broadcast tonight. Other key things that are coming up this coming Sunday, the Authors Roundtable series, all about the Authors 520 that I co-host with celebrity source Tyra Satai. That'll be this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to release that info tonight on the full broadcast show, and then we'll be posting it tomorrow. But make sure to check that out. There's some great authors that we've been blessed to talk with. So make sure to add All About the Authors 520 on Instagram, YouTube. Twitter is all about the auth one. You know how when you type it, it'll do some abridged version. And then on Facebook, make sure you type in All About the Authors 520. As long as you see the one that has like my profile and another person's profile, you're good to go. Before we get ready to wind down, before I close out, Kris10, any closing notes or words of closing to leave with our viewers?
I had a dream that a loved one of mine died. And when she died, she looked at me and she said, "Hey, speak my spirit back into my body." And I know this is deep, but what happened was I told her about my dream, and she said, well, if I die, you make sure you speak my spirit back into my body. And as I was driving, the Lord said to me, because Jesus is the way, he is the truth, he is the life. Um, it was when he said it is finished that his life ended. So my challenge to everyone that's living this life is, if you're not ready to transition, if in your heart and your mind you're saying, no, I'm not ready to die, my question is it finished? Are you living your purpose? Are you walking with a purposeful meaning of life? And if not, do it. Live this life with all you got. And that is my message from here on out, because it will be finished one day. Prayerfully, it is finished when you are finished. So live every day on purpose, intentionally, and give it all you've got. That's all I got.
Well, I tell you what, those words, as well as the other words that you shared today, definitely are timely. And I know, whether known or unknown, it's going to help somebody. So I appreciate you taking time to drop in, on the Fast 15. And as for me, in closing, y'all know the space and place where I'm coming from. Whether slow or swift, movement is movement. The second thing, no matter small or big, you celebrate the victories because you know what you've been led through in order to get there. And to borrow from the book I did on baseball, Nothing Minor, as quoted by Travis Demerit, who's back and forth between the major leagues and AAA, sometimes you got to filter out the noise. You got to filter out the noise. And sometimes filtering out that noise means filtering out your own self-doubt, your own inhibitions. So again, you heard today, we hope that it's provided some things for you to think about, a moment to kind of pause and just breathe for a little bit, pick up, a few pieces here and there, and just be encouraged as best as possible. And as you're encouraging yourself, constructively encourage other people. And the last thing is, none of us got here by ourselves. So you can read between the lines all you want, whether from whether from procreation to that person that gave you a chance to learn and grow. You didn't get here by yourself. So
Amen.
on that note, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you on Facebook, thank you so much. Make sure you hit share because we know it's going to help somebody. So for those of you on there for Facebook, we're going to say peace, see you later. Make sure to join us each and every Wednesday at 1:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Fast 15. It's a moment to check in, enjoy short readings, and more. Check us out on our Facebook and Instagram, information provided, as well as Zoom, and we'll see you soon.